I'm back. So what was it this time that drove Biscuit out of his live stream induced coma? Well, I'm sure you heard about it, but just in case you recently discovered space travel and were visiting Mars or something, let me explain. Everyone's been fucking freaking out over YouTube's new terms of service. But before we go any further, let's be honest. These terms were updated months ago, and people were talking about it then. But I didn't see it come to fruition, really, until Miley Yiannopoulos had posted a picture on his Facebook of one of his videos getting demonetized. I still thought it was contained to only him, though, because, let's face it, Twitter, YouTube, and a lot of other social media platforms really kind of hate him. Then yesterday, Philip DeFranco posted a video explaining that several of his videos were demonetized. What was the video he made note of that was demonetized, though? A video talking about the recent leak of the crazed SJW berating a Lyft driver because he had a fucking hula girl on his dashboard. See, now this whole thing's starting to make a little sense, isn't it? The majority political leaning, at least among these big internet platforms, you know, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, seems to be towards the left and the whole SJW thing, which is absolutely fine. They have every right in the world to their opinions. But what they're beginning to do now is actively dissuade people from making money off of opinions they don't like. But Biscuit, I hear you say, they're a privately owned company and thus can enforce any rules they'd like on their service. Absolutely. 100% fact, no question. No one is arguing that YouTube is breaking any law, nor should they be subject to any fine. See, we, the creators, the viewers, the users, we're the ones who built YouTube's off our backs. Yeah, I know, the geniuses who created the site, of course, they deserve all the credit in the world because they sat down, they had the idea, they wrote the code, they created this amazing thing that we now call YouTube. Fair. But without the users, YouTube wouldn't have made enough profit to buy a fucking bagel. It is in their best interest to keep us happy. Because let's say that all the biggest YouTubers get entirely disenchanted with YouTube. Let's say one of these YouTubers with a lot of money funds their own startup, enabling users to make money just like YouTube, but with guidelines that don't restrict. Now, just remember, this is all hypothetical. Now, let's say they get other big YouTubers on board with this idea. Then they get others. They get all their followers to now come to this new platform. There go the profits for YouTube. If no one's watching YouTube videos, the suits aren't making their money. Plain and simple. But there's also the advertisers themselves. See, it's totally possible that an advertiser would fucking despise YouTube. YouTube, if you look at it, is largely an uncontrolled platform in terms of the type of content that gets uploaded. See, advertisers don't really know what videos their products and their brands are being just fucking thrown on because it's a blanket. So, I know if I was an advertiser and I found that my ad was running on a video asking people to sign up for their fucking KKK or something, I'd be doing whatever I can to put a stop to that shit. So, to that extent, I understand where YouTube is coming from. But here's where the hypocrisy starts to come into play. Let's take a quick look at these guidelines. Alright. Content that is considered not advertiser-friendly includes, but is not limited to, sexually suggestive content, including partial nudity and sexual humor. I mean, are you insinuating don't upload porn to YouTube? We kind of already knew that, and fair, I guess. But could that also mean I'm not allowed to say penis anymore? What, really? Alright. Violence, including display of serious injury and events related to violent extremism. We'll come back to that one. Inappropriate language, including harassment, swearing, and vulgar language. Well, shit, I can't say fuck anymore. Promotion of drugs and regulated substances, including selling, use, and abuse of such items. So, you're saying on my live streams or any videos that I have, I can't drink a beer anymore? I hope that's not included in that because, well, then I guess every angry video game nerd video ever would be instantly demonetized and his business would be crippled because he drinks beer several times in his videos. Now, this is the part where I said I was going to come back to the violence, including display of serious injury and events related to violent extremism thing. Check this out. Controversial or sensitive subjects and events, including subjects related to war, political conflicts, natural disasters, and tragedies, even if graphic imagery is not shown. Okay, see, that's interesting because as Philip DeFranco so wisely pointed out, CNN can totally monetize a video titled Syrian Kid Covered in Own Blood. But that's okay, right? Because it's CNN and it makes people sympathize with your point of view. Don't get me wrong, it's not that the image of the kid wasn't horrible or anything. It's just blatant hypocrisy. Our views are totally cool for advertisers. Not yours, though. Now, if you follow guys like Teal Deer, the Amazing Atheist on Doom, these guys, the atheist community on YouTube, the skeptics, the anti-feminists, those kind of guys, you probably already know that feminists and SJWs on the internet have long been pushing for rules on popular social media platforms for people who disagree with them to basically be deleted from the internet. The guys I mentioned have openly dealt with people falsely flagging their videos, claiming harassment and hate speech. Sometimes they succeed, sometimes they don't. But when Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook delete posts, ban people, and demonetize videos, you're actively saying, hey, we're a platform for social justice. And if you don't agree with every tenet set forth by that movement, then you're probably not going to get along here. Which is cool, but be honest. Write that in your terms of service. But you won't, of course, because being open about your beliefs drives users away from your platform. And what did we say happens when people stop watching YouTube? That's right. Suits don't make their money, people get fired. Again, we're not saying YouTube is required by law or anything to let us say what we want. We're saying that's what made YouTube fucking awesome in the first place. You could come here, express your opinion, and if enough people like your views and your opinions, you could make a living. Now you're turning around and threatening these people's very livelihood because you decided their views aren't the right type for your platform? I don't know. If YouTube keeps making decisions like this, eventually they're going to kill off their own service.